Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillette.
Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I heard the intro and it said, and now your host, Lisa Gillette. And I was thinking, my guess is like, yeah, really? When were you going to show up? So I was on the state of California, and insurance is just, it's wild out here. And, people are literally getting non-renewal letters. And so I was learning this affects our transactions, because if you're purchasing, you need insurance to close on your transaction if you're financing that particular deal. So we'll talk more about that. So forgive us, but we are here. We are here live and direct. Say hi, say hello. Press 1 down below. Let me know you're here. 1 lets me know you're here. 2 lets me know you shared it. Welcome to another information-packed episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate. Oh my goodness, we're like on episode 247, and I love that twofold. So it's twofold for me. I get a twofer. I not only get to commit to my promise of bringing a guest, at least a new guest, once a month, but this guest is a special guest, and I'm going to bring him on shortly. Let me give you a short bio here, and I could say so much, but I've got the one and only. Don't you love how I'm jumping right in, and I'm not going to go into my long spiel because I want to give him more time than I can. ERGJ Da Godfather. Most of you know him as ERGJ. This is my friend Evan Jefferson. He is incredible. This man has done a lot. And he texted me yesterday and he says documentation beats conversation. And he has been consistent in his efforts and in his results in helping and trying to help the Black community free themselves financially for now over 2 decades. So this is going to be really hot topic here. And I want to just give you a snippet of his world. He is CEO of ERGJ Enterprises. So when you hear me shout that out on the show, that's because we cross promote with one of his pages, one of his channels and platforms. He is CEO of ERGJ Black Bazaar, where you all can check more out. I'll get him to drop a link. He is international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. And those of you who've been rocking with us some time know that we have been doing some trainings and talks with the Black Billionaires Club. He is a certified global financial educator, now virtual dispensary owner. He's definitely always been in the stocks and crypto investor, real estate investor, and angel investor for startups. Please welcome ERGJ, my brother, to the show.
Oh boy, it's about to get hot in here. What's going on? Lisa, Bovisa, Banana, Fana, Bovisa, Viva, Bovisa.
Oh my goodness, it's been a while. It's always fun to have you on the show. It's always fun to have you. So you look good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. I'm doing better than most. Better than good and better than most, like Les Brown would say. I'd say I'm coming into my own. I feel like I'm in the prime of my life, and I'm just ready to make some damage out here in these streets. Anybody got a hold of so many people, or they let them get a hold of them. And I'm tearing down strongholds, one fortune at a time.
One fortune at a time. Oh my goodness. So where do we start with this? You know,
I
this
don't know.
listen, this became a segue. And I think where we're gonna go with this, I think folks will get to peer into the conversations that we have as Black billionaires offline, and just a snippet in terms of motivation, inspiration, and leading, taking those goals and moving them into action. We segued into having you on the show because last week I was on the show doing my rant, and we were talking about current administrations and what their interests are. And lo and behold, there's wildfire happening because the recent announcement of the current president, President Biden, has decided that he will not continue in the reelection race, and he has tapped VP Kamala Harris. And so, and with that, we started to talk about administrations and the various sectors. You play in some big sectors here. You're in stock and crypto. You are in the real estate. You mentioned angel investing. So sometime I would imagine that would be some tech as well, and cannabis. And so talk to us about your natural progression from stock and crypto to where you are now with VO.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting in the stock game, I got in the stocks relatively. I don't know if it was early or late, but I remember that my father was an investor of some sort. I didn't know what he did, but I knew he was pretty good with money. So when I came into some money, I went to my dad and was like, "Hey, I don't know what to do with this. What should I do?" And like about $3,000, he told me, we opened up a Schwab account. That was my first. I still didn't know what I was doing, but at least I had an account. But later on in life, I remember working for Coca-Cola, and that's when I really started diving into money. I decided, let me say this again, everybody put in console, I decided I was going to learn about money. I understood since 15 years old, I was working for money, didn't understand it, didn't know all that stuff that we should know. Things like taxes and things like, setting your I-9s and all this stuff. So I said to myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn about money. And then I realized most of the people that look like me or in my community don't know about money. So I decided I was going to learn it. I became a certified global financial educator or certified financial educator. Then I took it global. And then when I was working for Coca-Cola, I started to study their benefits. Because you get benefits when you join a company, but most people don't know what to do with those benefits. So I said, well, let me learn about this HSA, which was a healthcare savings account. When I learned about that, that's actually an investment vehicle. Then I learned about the 401k. That's an investment vehicle as well. And what happened as I was learning this, I started teaching it. Everybody put in console lit, learn, implement, teach. So I learned it. And then about 3 weeks later, I was teaching it to everybody in Coca-Cola. They were coming up to my floor saying, "Hey, I heard you was good with the allocations and all that stuff, 401k." So my first service in business was a retirement review. And then since then, I that was back in probably 2012, 13, something like that. And since then, I've just been on a crusade to master money. And I'll tell you this, guys. One thing, a tip for you is I understood about money is that you can only reduce your expenses so much, but you can increase your income to unlimited levels. You can make as much money as you want to make, as much money as you'll try to make, as much money as you put the effort in to make. So I went from telling people to reduce their expenses to increasing your income to unlimited levels. And so a part of that reason why is because once you have discretionary income, then I can show you what to do with it from the investment side. So then about 2015, this thing called Bitcoin was brought across my path. I remember I was dating a sister. She said she knows a guy, this Bitcoin thing. And I was just like everybody else, man, I don't know about that. I ain't never heard of that. What is that? But guess what I did? I decided to learn about it. Everybody put in console, learn. See, before I say no, I go learn. So I went and learned about it. And I said, oh, this is interesting. And then it started to click for me. I said, well, we're in a digital age. it will make sense to have digital money. Matter of fact, we already have digital money because most people don't carry cash anymore. So the natural progression of money, once you learn about money, the history of money, going from bartering, corn, and all that stuff, which was money at a time, cow shells, which is money at a time, all these different things were forms of currency, which means movement. And we're now in the technology age. So it made sense to me to say, well, that could very well be a thing that we move from paper money to credit cards to Cash App and all that stuff to move into digital currency. So I invested. I went ahead and got some. I started learning about it. Guess what I did after that? I started teaching about it. So in 2015, Bitcoin was under $1,200. I started telling everybody on my page. I got 15,000 subscribers. I would get Lisa on a platform. We talk about it. Had a show in the morning, every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning called Black Money and Power, something like that, Money and Power show. I was doing that for years, for probably 2-3 years straight, waking up, showing people for free and trading in front of them. And most people wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Even for free. I want to make sure I make that very clear. Even for free, most people still won't do it. Well, lo and behold, now in 2024, I remember, Lisa, I had a haircut, went to my barber. I told my barber, I said, listen, bro, we go back, high school. I said, man, listen, I know you whatever, but listen, just trust me. Take $100 and put it in Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum and just sit it there. I came back 2 years later. I was like, man, did you do what I told you? He said, yeah, I did, but I sold it. I said, oh, right. And now Bitcoin itself, back in 2015, it was under $1,200. Now it's about $70,000. And that is how you simply get rich, because you don't have to do all that trading stuff and all that. Now, see, the good book says, get rich little by little, build wealth little by little. Most people want it right now, and that's cool, but you got to curb that, because I just sat it there and forgot it. And I keep living on my expenses, and I kept earning more and more money, and then I could put that wherever I wanted to. That's simply how you get rich.
I don't think people really understand the level of discipline that takes. And I think you hit it on the head with saying decided, that you had to make that decision, which I've watched you and you've watched me do shifter thinking, right? And I attribute those shifter thinking was 200. What was it, the 201 ways or whatever it was to shift your thinking and change your life? And I look back, I'm a different person.
I need to get that book, Lisa. Send that to me or send me a link to it. So I'm gonna get that book. I'm gonna feature that on when I get through with Think and Grow Rich or whatever else I'm gonna do. You know, I still run a book club, by the way. So if anybody's interested in shifting their thinking, we do have a Billionaires Book Club. It's free. Again, it's free. But the things that are free can pay off big dividends if you would just commit to doing it and do it every day or do it consistently, whatever that is. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with shifter thinking, and you and I, we parallel this journey. I wanted to touch on, why is it that you, even though you've shown people, right? You've done the documentation. What is it? And we're not going to belabor this here, because I want to get into talking about the cannabis industry and as it relates to real estate. What is it in an individual culture community that you've observed that hinders them from taking that next step of, this person is saying, hey, look, for free, and I'm showing you how to do it, and then applying it?
Oh yeah, that's just fear. At the end of the day, what has happened, typically what has happened at this point in time in people's lifestyle, I'm 40 something, and most people that I'm connected to are 40 something. So they've had experiences, and they attribute those failures, instead of looking at them as lessons, they look at them as failures. Oh, I did this and it didn't work. But what they never do is look at what they did to not make it work. People will start something, never try, and hope that somebody else is going to do the work. They don't come to class or training. All of that stuff happens, but they never talk about that stuff. They talk about the end result. And the good book says we reap what we sow. So I never fall for that, because I know that if it didn't work, it was something that you didn't do, not that something somebody else didn't do. So it's just fear. You have these experiences over and over again. You start hearing the charlatans out there, the people that say they're going to do something, they don't do it. And then you believe everybody is like that. And it's not like that. That's a lack of discernment, a lack of study, a lack of introspection, all types of stuff. Most people have an outward outlook. They're thinking about, most people talk about what other people do instead of talking about what I do.
Right.
And that's the difference. When you take personal responsibility for your life, whether it was your fault or not, it's still your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. And wherever you want your life to go, if you want to be broke, be broke. That's a choice. You can choose between rich or broke. It's just your choice. Because if you choose rich, then you're going to choose the habits that get you rich. If you choose poor, or you don't choose at all, you're going to choose the habits that lead to poverty. So that's really it. It's a matter of deciding and then saying, okay, finding someone. Because once you decide, what happens is the universe is going to bring to you what you need. The universe will bring you what you need if you decide what you want. The good book says, you make the plans, the good Lord will order your steps. It didn't say that God's going to make your plans. It said that you make your plans. In other words, you decide where you're going to go in this world. The Lord, the universe, the spirit itself will help you get there. The problem is you're not deciding.
As you're saying that, I'm reflecting on this conversation I had. We had a conversation yesterday evening around the table. My little guy, by the way, Evan, is now 13, and he is.
Oh my!
He's taller.
Uncle E coming to California, baby. Oh.
He is taller than I am, and he said, he's watching me just stay upbeat, right, up to date with what's happening in this political arena. And he says to me, he says, Mom, who do you want to win president? And you said it in a nutshell about taking personal responsibility for your life. And one thing that I shared with him is positioning myself. And I said, and I continue to do this, whether it's a pandemic or whether it's a shift in administration, is that as long as I continue to do what I need to do for me and mine, it does not matter what administration is in play. Does not matter. Does not matter. Some administrations could make it nice and sweeter, which is cool. Like, it's so fun. There's another book. Gosh, Tipping Point. There's a book called Tipping Point.
Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell.
Isn't that something? Tipping Point hit my mind on various, like Zoom, right? Pandemic, Zoom goes through the roof. That was a tipping point moment. I get to see in real life time all these examples that he had written about, and then someone shared the meme or these memes about there's the Y2K that happened on Friday and it didn't happen when they said it would happen, and there was this whole shutdown and airlines were grounded except for Spirit. And I start laughing. Wow. I said, Spirit's been the joke of the airline industry, and they were actually still flying.
Sound like a Forrest Gump moment to me.
So I go, wow, tipping point, right? They were able to capitalize on that whole, shutdown. Oh my goodness. And those are real things. Those are real things. So
they might be able to expand the operation for that one. For that whole weekend. They might buy airline out now. Eastern Airline or something. They might get bought. Frontier, you come on down. Let's mergers and acquisitions. We got the money now.
And I just thought that was so funny and so classic, is that, and it was inspiring. I mean, say what you will about Spirit and whatnot, but it's just fact that, we're all in our ideas and our ventures. And what I continually see is that we don't stick around long enough to reap those rewards. As you were saying, you sow what you reap, but you're not sticking around long enough. My husband's got a garden, and it's the coolest thing to watch. He's got a green thumb, and to watch these cycles of what he's planted. And now today he's like, we eating real organic today. So it's really cool to watch that what you plant today is really not, you're not eating from it tomorrow, but it goes through this season. So I'm
Yeah, there was. I think what was interesting, what you said. One thing I point out, just what you said, was tipping point. When you said that, I immediately knew what book you were talking about. And that should be interesting to your watchers, because that shows that we're people that read.
right.
Like, and they may, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Like now the smart person, the wise person would immediately go get that book. Immediately. That's what leaders do. They both of them said tipping point. That's probably a book I should read if I want to have the success of both of those people on the screen, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in stocks, whether it be in crypto, whether it be in cannabis. But you know what? Most people won't get the book. So here's my lesson to you that are out there watching in the replay or live right now. Don't be like most people.
I'm learning that it's easy not to be like most people.
It is, because you just simply be yourself.
Very easier. As some of you all know, and Evan knows that I'm in this law school journey, and I am watching and I'm learning about the industry, legal industry that parallels the real estate industry. And I continue to receive these nuggets of assurance that it is very easy to dominate that industry. I'm gonna dominate that industry. It's like, oh, no one's doing marketing. Attorneys don't put budgets aside for marketing.
Yeah, I can whatever you want me to talk about dominating, we can definitely talk, because I'm dominating the cannabis market. Exactly what I'm about to do.
Very good. Let's jump into that as we segue into cannabis. So full disclaimer here, right? So full disclaimer, let me throw this up real quick. Of course, the information provided on the show should not be considered legal or tax advice or financial advice. Please seek legal, tax, financial advice from those reputable, licensed professionals. Yes, ERGJ, Evan Jefferson here, is a global certified financial educator. You can reach out to him regarding your specific situation or someone in your locale. And I myself, my area of expertise is in real estate. I'm a California broker, licensed here now approaching 2 decades. Wow. I just thought about that the other day. Someone had asked me and I was like, whoa, it's been a long, long time. And so, we out here like spirit. That tipping point is coming. So talk to us. I say that disclaimer and in the light and context that it's an interesting dichotomy as we talk about cannabis. And I remember I shared this last time on the show. I had 2 brothers come on the show and they were doing a tour. They were touring farms. They were talking about, there's a lot of opportunity there. And they need accountants, bookkeepers. They need folks to manage the cannabis and that whole arena. And so we have this dichotomy of not federally approved, but states are coming to. Various states are legalizing it for recreational use and medicinal uses. And what probably you and I have talked about, and maybe many of you think, is it's one of those things like alcohol during the prohibition, right, was outlawed. That's where bootlegging came from, and people weren't willing to give up the booze. So talk to us. How large is this industry?
Yeah. So right now the industry is roughly about 20 to 40 billion dollars market. Projected to be over 100 billion in 2030. So 5 years from now, roughly 100 billion. That's talking about growth. And the thing about, as an investor, with my investor mind, I understand to get in early. Right? If I find something, what we're looking for is opportunity. We're looking for something that is projected to grow, so I can grow my bank account with it. So the same way that I looked at Bitcoin and saw it as like, well, this could really be something, and it is. Is the same way I'm looking at cannabis, like this could really be something, and it is. But here's the thing: it's all about the clues. We see that in 2018, there was a president at that time who signed the 2018 Farm Bill. And that Farm Bill opened up the door in a legal way to have hemp. Now, hemp is defined as cannabis with less than 0.3% THC, which is the psychoactive portion of the cannabis plant, by dry weight. So as long as it falls within that compliance, it's federal. It's able to cross federal or state lines from a federal standpoint. Now, it doesn't mean it's legal in all the states. You got to check your states, but it can get over the lines. Now most people.
Let me also jump in here real quick and share. I was reading recently too that they are moving the classification of marijuana. By the way, it's there's a first, second, and third tier. I was reading this probably 2 weeks ago, and I thought that was very interesting. Is because with that happening and the penalty, they're moving it to the.
I think you might want to explain the schedule.
Oh, okay. Oh, go for it. Yeah, because
I don't understand. You'll probably be more a person that understands the schedule 1, 2, and 3.
Let me finish my thought. So it is, they're moving the classification to the equivalent of over-the-counter drugs. And right now it has a harsher classification, of course, and historically we've seen people do time for it, et cetera, et cetera. But now they're bumping it to the equivalent or pushing for the equivalent of over-the-counter drug. So we're seeing it go take the cycle of alcohol, right? And it's not, and then now it's like everybody can get into it. Okay, go. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, that's a beautiful thing because you said the word drug. So when we say cannabis is a drug, we might think of it as negative. But when we say that aspirin is a drug, we think of it as positive.
Right.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
But it's so funny because when some folks, I had someone ask me, they said, "Oh, I had a headache," and they said, "Oh, do you take something for it? Do you want a Tylenol?" And I said, "No, I don't do drugs." So, I mean, some people understand a drug is a drug, right? But you're right. The connotation, the association that people make with it can be a very fine line. As a licensee, I'm a licensee of the state. It is still a very fine line for us. You and I have had this conversation offline, and I said, I'm twofold right now, which, by the way, there's associations in the bar. There are sections in the LA County Bar Association for attorneys that actually have a section for cannabis. And so they have their own groups or members of attorneys who are really delved into this industry and are 420 friendly, rightfully so. And so one of the things that we've seen is someone can have a lucrative cannabis business, but in California here, feds can come in and bust your door and take everything down and shut it down. So again, you and I have talked offline. I'm saying it online now that it is a fine line for, let's say, you're a licensee of the state, and as the licensee of the state, they say that, when you basically signed on that you've got this duty. There's this duty, this moral duty. So I'm learning, I'm paying attention. This is why we're talking.
Yeah, absolutely. But California is a booming state for dispensaries. So those lines stay packed. So if you're not subject to the state, you start talking about going from a brick and mortar where people have to be at your door to where you're online. We're talking about a virtual dispensary where people can shop from your virtual store, your e-commerce store, anywhere in the country, plus 26 other countries. So, and then also, as you're talking about it being over the counter, quite possibly in the classification, now you start realizing that they're legalizing this thing from the medicinal standpoint more so than the recreational. So if I say cannabis or I say marijuana and you think recreational, then your mind is not in the right place. They're legalizing it more so for its medicinal purpose, to be able to help people with all types of things that you can Google. We're talking about, you guys are probably familiar with glaucoma and cannabis. My sister, matter of fact, is an anti-cannabis, anti-marijuana, anti-weed, no, all my life. Oh, the good book, the Bible, the good God, and all this stuff. No, that's a drug. Well, guess what? She got diagnosed with lupus 4 years ago. Having going through whatever she's going through with lupus, she was looking for solutions. Then she started looking for alternative solutions. I got a text about a month ago when I was on vacation from my sister, who I don't even talk to no more because of that, right? She pushes the Bible, pushes it, and try to make you force it down your throat. I don't even have a conversation with her no more. But she said, I've changed. Everybody putting console, it's okay to change. Everybody putting console, it's okay to change. She said, I've changed. She sent me 2 links. One was a link to YouTube called the God Plant. And another link was to another documentary on cannabis. And I was like, what in the world are you sending me this for? What is this about? Well, guess what? She said, well, I told you I changed. I've been smoking cannabis for the past 2 years. It's helped me with my lupus. And I'm no longer on the white pills. I said, wait a second. All these years, you've been busting it down and giving people the business. But just like Saul turned to Paul, my sister went from anti-cannabis to pro-cannabis. And there's a lot of other people who have done the exact same thing.
When pain hits you, you're like, you start to explore some alternatives. And yeah, let me put that back up there. It's okay to change. It's okay to explore some alternatives. I've had an interesting relationship with cannabis. So, for me, it's okay to change. I've been working through my triggers about it. So, but as I'm also, thanks to shifter thinking, I'm not stuck in my ways. I'm really grateful that I'm a person that I can learn, that I can be open mind. And
let me say something else as well. Because here's the deal. Here's one hang up for some people. Well, I don't do that. Right. Okay, that's irrelevant because I don't drink coffee, but I wouldn't say no to Starbucks. You see, I wouldn't say I don't want a Starbucks franchise because I don't drink coffee. I would go get the Starbucks franchise and make the money.
I see.
I'm not a pharmacist, so I'm not a doctor. You don't have to be a doctor to own a hospital. You guys understand that, right? And one of the number one rule in the game, if you was in the game in the street, is don't get high off your own supply.
Right.
So shifting your thinking, you know what I'm saying? Really starting to see, but this is happening whether you agree with it or not. You can see it. Right. It's just a matter of whether you want a piece of the pie. And that's totally up to you. If you say no, that's fine. You'll see a whole bunch of other people get rich. That's just what it is. It's already people making millions and billions of dollars. This is not new. It's just a matter of having access to do something with it. And now that you do, what are you going to do?
Right. Wanda says, I don't eat dog food, but I would sell it. Right. Yeah. That's it's a great example, and it's one of those tricky things, right, for people, because some folks may throw the M word after it, the morale principle, right? Is it moral? Like I was reading on folks 50 Cent's page, and because he's trying to change the liquor game, and you have people saying, yay, we need representation there, which is why he's got Ben Crump on his team and they're making a civil suit out of it. And then you have other people saying, why are you selling that poison that's killing your community? And it's like fine lines, because
let's talk about moral. Okay. I think on the same day that God made peppermint, rosemary, lavender, I think God made the same. I mean, he made all the plants on the same day. Would you agree that cannabis is a plant made by God? Would you agree? If you agree with that, then would you say he made it on the same day? Probably so. And when he got done that day, what did he say? Good job, right? It is good. And he went to bed and he came back up the next day. He did that for 6 days. He created the earth, if that's what you believe. So morally speaking, God said it's good. Why would you say, if you believe in that God, that it's not? That's called false teaching. Now, it was legal until 1939. So you're talking about from the beginning of time, this plant, which is known to have medicinal benefits, is not just THC. That's where you get hung up at. You don't know what you don't know. Our people perish for lack of knowledge. You don't do any reading, no research, none of that stuff. This plant has over 130 cannabinoids. One of them is THC. That's what you know about on the street. You don't know about the other 129. Plus, probably pushing about 150 extractions from a plant that has seeds that you can grow in the earth that came from God. So you tell me about your moral code and what God says or what you say. Now, the 130 plus cannabinoids, here's another cannabinoid that you have no problem with. It's called CBD. CBD comes from the cannabis plant, also known as marijuana in the streets. Well, guess what CBD does? CBD helps with pain relief. So my mother went into a coma after I got a depression. She was in a coma for 8 months. When she got out of the hospital, guess what? Things changed. She'd been in that bed, sleep, out, whatever came up, guess what? Don't have the feeling in your legs. Some of y'all have experienced that before. So now she has neuropathy. Her nerves are bad. Guess what my mother orders every month? That CBD topical, which comes from the cannabis plant. As I said, there's more medicinal benefits than you may know, but they know. And now they are capitalizing on it by making it legal, which was signed by a man named Donald Trump, who looks like he just got a little, looks like the Democrats might have just threw the election. I don't know. But if he get back in office, what do you think Donald Trump's going to do? Donald Trump seems to be like the type of man who will finish what he starts. And he don't care what you think about it. So again, I'm putting myself in position to win and win big because I got goals. I got things I want to do. You may not have nothing you want to do. I got to build a school. And to build a school is exactly what I'm going to do.
DLJC, bags and accessories.
What's going on, DLCJ Bat? What's going on? Come on, get this money, girl. Stop playing. Matter of fact, we're gonna have some hemp purses coming out soon, DLC. Y'all, come on now. They turn that hemp into concrete and shirts and all types of stuff. Y'all better stop playing.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome. This is awesome because just in that snippet right there, and this is really cool, y'all, because I have access to them, so I can call them anytime. But it's just a matter of making time. So put in the comments there, make time, make time. And right in that snippet of listening to you, I've learned so much more about cannabis than I did. I know my my folks are going to be like, okay, so you paying attention. Oh, you paying attention now because ERGJ said it. Make time to learn. This goes back to what you were saying about learning, right? And making that time, deciding to change. I definitely, as I continue to understand the fine lines, I don't want to miss an opportunity because, we're all watching this thing roll slowly. Like if you watch the movies from the 1920s about prohibition and what people were doing in bootleg, and because I'm a big fan of some of the older movies and foreign films because I like, to grab snippets of how history was depicted and what happened, because you learn, right? You can learn something from it. And here we are. That's why I've been sharing with my son about different things that have been transpiring. I said, yo, this is history. We are living it right now.
So here's the deal, Lisa. Because we're gonna need to talk offline. But when you say, you know what, let me figure this out, then it's all about strategy. And that's what I'm a master at. Figuring out how to make it work. So I got an idea that I think that you might be interested in. We'll talk about it offline because that's a personal question. But when you're awakened or when you have a newer flash of light of understanding, the good book says, "In all thy getting, get wisdom, and get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding." Here's what's beginning to happen. People are starting to wise up. They're getting the knowledge. But just because you have the knowledge, that still is no power until you do something with it. That's right. But many times you don't do anything with it until you get what? Until you get the understanding of the knowledge. That's that. I don't know. Sometimes it comes while you sleep. You don't got it, but then you sit on it for a little while. You don't sow that seed, you start watering. Then it starts to make sense. So even a podcast like this, you and being ready, set real estate, and being willing to bring someone on to talk about cannabis and things like that, and in connection with it, it's going to allow other people to not only get some knowledge, but some of them are going to get some understanding. And then a few of them are going to get flat out rich.
80-20 rule, right? And you know, there's only a few people that are going to apply it, which I like to say knowledge is power, but application is wisdom. And that's the key thing here that we're discussing. And yes, absolutely. Because I look at everything as real estate. You know, we just went from talking about brick and mortar where folks were reaching out to me to look for when cannabis popped, and it was a big conversation, a big thing, big movement here in California. We had folks and clients that were, past clients reaching out to me saying, hey, can you find me a warehouse? And so we were looking at commercial buildings. We were looking for opportunities, but now this thing has continued to grow and transition because folks are now tapping into, well, there's a lot of risk there, right? We've got on the real estate side, and some of you have heard me say this, there's risk for the escrow companies to do those deals because their money's tied to the bank. The bank is FDIC insured. We're talking about something that's not federally approved yet. And so they're like, we don't want to touch it. Then we have insurance companies before the issue we were having with insurance in California that says, it's cannabis. It's high risk. It's a cash business. It's all these other things that they were concerned about. They didn't want to insure it. And then here we go for people who, and then that's just the real estate aspect. My clients were telling me about how much it costs to get the permits and the licenses. And now we're talking about this is a 5-figure game to be able to jump in at that state. And now we're at this where would this be an example of it being more commercialized, that now you've got the virtual dispensary that people who, I got a couple $100. That's not enough to get me brick and mortar. That's not enough for me to be licensed, but I am looking for a way to do what Evan said, which was increase my income. So I have enough disposable income to then call Lisa to help me buy some real estate.
Or invest in others, reinvest in that asset others. And that's the thing. It's a philosophy that we teach. And let me say this. It's not even just about the cannabis or real estate. It really comes down to your network, right? It comes down to the team that you join. Many of you are doing things by yourself. You have no wise counsel. You have no business coaches. You just, I'm going to figure it out. I'll go right ahead, but it'd be a lot easier if you collaborate. Collaboration beats competition. So when you get with people that are smarter than you and they allow you to be in their room, me and Lisa have been knowing each other for a long time. We've done a lot of business together, collaboration. We could have competed, but we didn't. Matter of fact, when she's online because of our collaboration.
Yep. And I say that all the time. I'm online because Evan literally called me. He's in Atlanta. I'm in LA. And he says, people need what you're doing. You ever thought about going online? And I was like, well, yeah, I was thinking about it. But guess what? I did not know how to do that, what that would look like. And the great thing is, recapping what Evan said, is when you set your mind and you've decided, and I decided that it was something I wanted to do, guess what? The universe provided a means and a way to get it done. And that first time we did that online, we were able to touch and impact youth and folks in various states, including Canada. And I know when I got off the line, I was in tears. I was a big baby in tears because I was able to realize a personal dream or a goal of something that came from a download. Most of you don't know, it took me 4 hours, less than 4 hours to write that book. Then that book continued to pay me dividends to this day. And it opened so many doors for me, but it came, like you said, right? The understanding, the knowledge, the download. And the difference is I figured it out and I did something about it. And it just opened this collaboration that we're talking about now. That's literally, but I had to be ready, willing, and able. And that's a real estate term. Ready, willing, and able.
Ready, willing, and able. Yeah. And guess what? Guess what, guys? I don't know if y'all know this or not, but she's got commercials. Can we see a commercial?
Absolutely. I'm glad. I was like, I didn't even get to do a commercial. Listen, we've got commercials. We'll be right back after the sponsor break with last message from Evan, ERGJ, the Godfather. If you're just tuning in, make sure you check the replay. We'll be right back. All right.
Do you have properties that need to be maintained? For professional services that guarantee your property will stay safe and secure, Omnis Property is the team you want by your side. As a company, we pride ourselves on our best-in-class professionals, equipped with the latest technology for all your end-to-end property preservation needs. That means that from start to finish, our expert team can handle everything from accurate assessments to preservation projects of all sizes. Save money and time by working with leading experts that understand your needs and are committed to premier service. Get started today by contacting us for your project estimate. Visit www.omnispreservation.com or call 310-957-9132.
I learned that from ERGJ too.
We got our own, hey, guy, when you start sponsoring your own stuff, that's just more, that's another stream of income. See, we teach this stuff. That's why I say it's about the team that you join. Cannabis is just one thing, but once you get with a team and you build trust and you see that you can make money together, guess what? You can do anything together. Buy an island, get a plane, whatever it is you want to do, it don't matter, because now it ain't just one, it's one for all. You see what I'm saying? But when you decide, especially to the people that look like me, when we decide we're going to collaborate, do something together. And if it's just one thing, guess what? We do everything together. Because when you get a network of people, now when you need real estate, you got somebody you can call, Lisa. Now when you need life insurance, you got somebody you call over in our other page. Now when you need whatever it is you need, guess what? It's in the network. Join the network. Let's get it done. So Lisa, I'm telling you, I don't really talk a lot about myself. I just get it done. I let my results speak for themselves. So I feel like I don't know. I don't crave recognition. What I crave is change. What I crave is getting better. What I crave is making a difference. And I let my work speak for itself.
And on that note, listen, DLJC says that is big to sponsor your own commercial. Yes, let's go. Listen, this was great.
How long we been doing that, Lisa? How long we been sponsoring our own shit?
Oh, look, approaching almost a decade. Yep.
They just catching up.
And guess what? The person who created the commercial is in our network.
Is that Tamiki?
Yeah.
Oh, big sis. Yeah. You get access to our marketing team. You get access to all that stuff when you join the team. That's all I can say.
Big Sis Media. In fact, I'm like excited to do another commercial, because I'm like, okay, I've been doing some changes. This is why I said about, pivoting and adding the legal aspect to the industry, to what I'm doing. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got all the resources and tools to dominate. This is going to just be. We're gonna have.
Let me give you an example. I'm gonna make sure that people know how to follow it. First, you can go to Facebook, ERGJ Enterprise, if you want to follow that page. If you're interested in the dispensary, make sure you go to that page and you inbox me. Just inbox. We'll respond back to you. And notice I say will. I'm gonna show you what collaboration looks like. And then we have another group, the Profit Posse, but you can't get in there until you inbox me on ERGJ Enterprises. So go to Facebook, ERGJ Enterprises, like that page, follow that page, just shoot us an inbox and we'll get back to you. Now, here's why I say us. See, when you collaborate, so I have a sister who has a goal, and I work with people who have big things to accomplish. They got a reason to do stuff. People that don't have a reason to do stuff, they quit fast. She said, I want to come back to America. She needs to make some money, right? And she's in Africa, and I want to get to Ghana. So I brought her on to my page as a social media manager, right? Now, what I'm doing with Facebook is we have over 15,000 followers, and we're now getting paid for our content. Facebook is paying me. Now, here's what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Facebook pays me to put my content out. I use my content to find new customers and new business partners, which pays me. And when Facebook pays me, I pay her a percentage as her salary. And that helps her get to her goal of earning the money to get back to America. And guess what, guys? I have so many leads, I got to hire somebody else. Right? What would it be like for you to have unlimited leads to your business, that you know how to drum up leads out of thin air? not paying for them, none of that stuff. All the stuff that I do is free. I don't run ads. I don't do none of that stuff, right? Because I know this is this thing called attraction and engagement. I know something, just like Mr. B said. Mr. B said, if you knew what I knew, you'll be able to make a YouTube channel and get it to 10 million followers in 6 months. Guess what? If you knew what I knew, now how do you get to know what other people know? You come to their class. And what is it that most people don't do? They don't go to class.
They don't show up.
They don't show up. You put it together. Yeah, I want to come. You put it together. You're like, okay, nobody came. And guess what? I stopped wasting my time on people who waste time.
There you go.
You're either going to do it or you're not.
My coach.
And guess what? I don't need you to get it done because I'm going to get it done with or without you the same way every champion does. There's a reason why LeBron James was in 7 straight finals, because it didn't matter what the team. He was going to make sure his team got to the finish line. My question is, what are you going to do about your last name? Are you going to make sure that your last name it gets to the finish line for whatever it is that you want to do? Is it going to be a legacy that's reputable or a legacy that wasted time? Which one is it? Is it going to be a legacy of education and knowledge and wisdom, or a legacy of entertainment and slothfulness and wickedness? What's going to be said about your last name? What are your children and children's children going to say about you? What did you leave? It says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. It said a father should leave houses and riches. Well, I want to talk to the brothers. Are you going to be leaving houses? That would be real estate. And are you going to be leaving riches? That would be money as an inheritance to the next generation. Follow me on ERGJ Enterprise on Facebook. You want to get in business? Let's get in business. Let's do it. It ain't going to take that long. We do training. You get access to our network. And again, it's not just the business opportunity. It's your opportunity to connect with me and my team, and let's get it done, son.
On that note, we're going to wrap up. This was too much for some folks. That's why make sure you catch it on the replay on your favorite podcast. We are everywhere. We're international. This is international. This is the fun thing about this thing called Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and the internet. Evan, I appreciate you for your time, your knowledge, your education, and your continued friendship. Really appreciate you. And thank you. I'm so glad to be able to share this platform with you, especially since you brought me on live and we've been going strong. So we're out here. This is, people don't, oh, I wish somebody would. And someone told me. We told you. We told you. With that, we'll see you next week on another informational packed episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate. Thank you all. Thank you, and take care. Have a productive week.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast with Lisa Gillette, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA Super Agent